Hey guys, I've got a busy week this week. I'll be sharing some thoughts on Starfield soon, but I'm also hosting at Nintendo Live, and I can't wait to talk about that experience. And hopefully I'll see some of you there in Seattle, September 1st to the 4th. But I also have been streaming some games, and I wanted to talk about them. And first of all, hats off to 2023 and all of these incredible experiences. It's been very difficult to just put something away and then jump onto something else and try to keep up with all of these incredible games. But I've streamed 4 games recently, and they were all pretty damn enjoyable. Let's talk about my experience playing Madden NFL 24. EA shot me out the review code. Thank you, EA. And I jumped in and played a couple of games and tooled around inside of the menu. I streamed it with you guys, and I was taken aback, actually, by the cleanliness of everything. It's just a very clean user interface. There isn't all kinds of superfluous kind of attitude on screen or any other kind of BS that you have to kind of navigate through or click through. Of course, you're choosing how much into the simulation you want to play and your kind of difficulty level, but then you just take the field and it's breathtaking. This is the 4th iteration of Madden on current-gen consoles. I played it on the Xbox Series X, and the work shows. I mean, this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous game. The depth of field effects, the fans in the stadium, the animations of the players obviously look incredible, their celebrations, all of the play calling, everything on screen and on field was just really, really elegant, and it was so easy to play. I felt very connected to the experience. First match that I played, I lost, which made me feel good. I don't really like to jump into a sports game because you have to reacclimate every single year. At least I do. But I don't like to jump into a sports game and beat the AI on my first go, and it felt good. I put up a little bit of a challenge because I do have some, Madden skills from playing the game every year, but I'm certainly not a lifer that plays every season and plays every single game and plays it to death. So I did okay, handled myself all right in the first game, but I was happy that I lost and that I came back with some stronger plays in the second game. And the weather effects were super cool. It just was, at its core, ridiculously fun to play. Now, I haven't played a season. I haven't gone back to play Madden since I streamed it, but I left the game with a lot of excitement. I was super into the experience in real time. You guys saw how animated I got with some of the decisions that I made, the plays that I called and completed. It just felt great to play. So I am looking forward, when there's a little bit of a lull, when we're not getting 100-hour RPGs every week, to get back into that game and play it some more. But so far, Madden NFL 24 on the Xbox Series X, big thumbs up for me. I also had a chance to play Immortals of Aveum for the PlayStation 5. This is from a new studio called Ascendant, which is made up of all kinds of vets. It's using Unreal Engine 5 technology, and it's a magic shooter experience. I had a lot of fun streaming this. I had a lot of fun testing it out at Summer Game Fest earlier this year, so my eyes have been on this game for a long time. I don't think it's getting the attention that it deserves because there's so many other games out there that are deserving of attention, and it's just a crowded year with lots of great choices. But this is a very competently made, super slick shooter experience with colorful magic effects and all kinds of crazy flourishes. I even like the communication crystal that you get, where you get these actors popping into the screen. And funny side story, the lead actor, Darren Barnett, who plays Jack in the game, the character that you play, is actually a prominent supporting actor in the new Gran Turismo movie, and I recognized him from Immortals when he popped up on screen in Gran Turismo. I'm like, yeah, that's Jack from this game, which was crazy. And of course, Gina Torres is in there. I love Gina Torres, going back to the Firefly days. And there's just a real kind of commitment to building this cool fantasy lore. And yes, you have to learn all the new names for the world and the effects and the glyphs and things that you have to kind of pull off. But it's fun diving into this. It's also incredibly accessible. If you've played a Call of Duty game and you love Call of Duty, this is the fantasy enriched world for you to dive into. It's a little bit of a corridor shooter, and then you'll get into these kind of arena battles and stuff. I fought this giant dragon, which was a lot of fun. But you're mixing and matching the magic effects. You've got shotgun effects, you've got regular rifle type of effects, you've got machine gun type of effects, all with this magic infusion. You're moving objects with magic powers. Just looks really, really cool. I don't think it's the most beautiful video game that I've ever seen, but it's hard to deny that there is some really beautiful work in this experience. And I had a lot of fun streaming it. I've been itching to go back to it, but I haven't had the time. But if you haven't seen Immortals of Aveum yet, you should check out my full stream. and you can decide for yourself if this one's for you, but I really had a great time with it. I also had an incredible time. Out of the 4 that I'm talking about today, I think this is the one that was the highlight for me. Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. This is going back to the early days of From Software and what they used to deliver on classic PlayStation consoles. I played this on the PS5, but you can get this for Xbox consoles. It's out for PS4 and PC. I can't wait to play it on Steam Deck. This is a very fast and exciting experience. Yes, there's a lot of technical details that you have to get in the weeds for. You have to choose the right armament on your giant robot and put the right limbs on your robot, the right head. You can adjust everything, customize everything. You can create your own decals and stick them on your robot as well. And we're seeing all kinds of crazy customization out there on the internet. And then you get into these really ridiculously enjoyable battles, taking on the smaller fry of helicopters and tanks and smaller mechs and stuff coming at you. And then you get into these boss fights. And that first kind of opening salvo boss fight took me a hell of a long time to beat. And people that were watching the stream were so bloody patient with me. All kinds of swears poured out. So, spoiler alert on the swears. But I had a great time. Even though it was kicking my ass, I had a great time finally defeating that boss. And then there's a mission structure to the campaign where you go off on these little mini missions, all leading to some massive encounter with a bigger boss down the road. What you do is you go into these kind of not quite open world areas. There are invisible walls and stuff, but you get into these cool battles with all these little mini opponents, and then you come back to base, you use the spoils to better your core, then you go out on another mission and rinse and repeat until you start to battle some of the bigger bosses. There's a lot of challenge in this. There's a lot of customization that you have to contend with, but God, it's rewarding, it's beautiful, and easily, I've always loved giant robot games, but this is easily the best giant robot experience I have ever played, and I can't wait to get back to it. You guys know I'm playing Starfield right now, so I've had to push excellent things like this aside while I've been playing this Bethesda juggernaut, but I can't wait to get back to Armored Core 6. And the other game that I played and streamed is Firewall Ultra for the PlayStation VR 2, which is kind of a remake from the very first Firewall game, which came out for PSVR 1, and that went on for many years with multiple seasons and stuff. It's a first-person shooter in VR, very much like classic Rainbow Six. It's tactical, it's cooperative. You really can't do well on the battlefield if you're not communicating and working with your teammates. And luckily enough, I found some good people to play with. I played it on an early Saturday morning and streamed it, but there were people up and playing it, and there was a tremendous amount of patience for me, but also there was some great guidance and also great enthusiasm from other players that were more familiar with Firewall. They played it on PSVR 1 and they were excited to have it on PSVR 2. So I got caught up in that enthusiasm, which was really cool. And it was super fun to play. And you're reminded when you play it that you're kind of using your head. I'm going out of the mic space right now, but you're using your head to kind of lean around corners and things. And it's not just using the thumbsticks. And the Sense controllers actually were pretty cool. I did have some issues with some of the tracking, but it's really early days for the software, so I'm sure it will be patched and tuned. A lot of the maps in the game are refined versions from the previous Firewall game, but it all looked pretty cool. There was a great kind of use of shadows and lighting. It was really fun to work together to defeat the objectives. What I will say about Firewall Ultra, though, is that I have not yet played a shooter that's more fun than flat screen shooters. I think it's one of the things that we think about for VR right away. It's like, it'll be so cool to be able to feel like you're really in battle and conflict inside of a shooter. And it is, but we've had so many excellent flat screen shooters that just overload us with lots of content and lots of diverse missions and lots of crazy experimental stuff. And I think the shooters, and Firewall Ultra is a great example that we see in VR, kind of have to rein things in to keep them manageable for players, because it's still all kind of brand new. So I've really enjoyed playing Firewall Ultra, and I'll definitely go back to it, but I don't think it supplants my experience with other shooters out there. I'm certainly not going to forget my memories and my fondness for classic Rainbow Six, and Ubisoft, it's time to go back to classic Rainbow Six type gameplay with all of this new technology. I know that Siege is super popular, but Rainbow Six in the olden days of the original Xbox and stuff was just incredible, and it was fun to play a game like that in VR, for sure. sure. So there you go. Those were 4 games that I streamed over at twitch.tv/EPN. Make sure you're following the channel. I pop on there all the time, and I think I'm going to be doing it a lot more because so many games are coming out that the best way for me to keep up with all of this stuff is to play it with you. So thanks for watching, you guys. I'll be back soon with thoughts on Starfield and a whole lot more. We'll see you soon, and until then, play forever.